On to the fifth then. Race number 5 is the first leg of the triple trio. Class 4, 1,200 metres the trip. The field headed by Shadow Runner. Third and fourth on his last two starts, both those at Happy Valley. Two debutants in the field, Almighty Pegasus being the first then for Dennis Yip. We've got Divine Era, beaten favourite on debut. Money when rolled by Fantastic Treasure last time out as well. Gluck Racer, third on debut behind Universal Go-Go. Love Me More down the field behind Bella Baby. Rhapsody returns first up since November. Victory Scholars, the other debutant in the field. Out of Travel Glory, returning to Sha Tin and dropping in trip, and Smart Hunter close to a class drop here off a mark of 41 for Douglas White and Keith Young. Rhapsody, Victory Scholars and Branding Power mark for Francis Loy and Zach Purton are the horses that have been up at Chung Fan.
And Victory Scholars, Android, his first start, a good to slow tempo, and he's won a Happy Valley trial beating Chevalier Prince and showed speed in that. Rhapsody, he's back from a break, but he's had plenty of trials since then. He'll follow him. Almighty Pegasus on debut, Branding Power doing it tough around Shadow Runner, Travel Glory, Towards Success and Gallant Cavalier. We go back to Gluck Racer and Divine Era, Paul, who'll make ground hopefully from back in the field.
There is Divine Era, and that's him 507 closest to us, just working with Fantasy there, and he moves nicely. Both his runs have been good, and he'll natural improvement. He'll be pretty fit coming into this contest. Gluck Racer was very impressive on debut as well. He was well out of his ground, and he came home really nicely there for third at Happy Valley. See if he can make the switch to Sha Tin, but since then his work's been good. No problems with him and Manfred Mann, Alexi Bedell. And Rhapsody, another who was impressive 3 starts ago, and he's been up in Chung Fa there. He stretches out nicely in his track work and has trialled well recently as well. So another one that's going well.
OK, we'll look at Rhapsody again in a moment or so. We'll start off though, Mark, here with Shadow Runner. Now he's been racing at Happy Valley in his last 2 starts, finishing 4th here to Fireball last time out.
Thought he was a big chance this night too, Andrew. He's had 5 goes at Sha Tin. He's yet to run in the money. He's had every conceivable chance at his last 2 starts. Paul, he did run 3rd behind Wood on Fire 2 starts ago and then 4th behind Fireball. It just looks like he goes the same speed the entire way.
He needs to give away to all the race, horses, and then there's a couple of quite nice ones, I thought. So, look, I didn't find a spot for him in there.
OK, what about Divine Era then, Paul, and Branding Power?
Yeah, I like Divine Era. I think this horse has been running in some pretty strong races, this being one of them, and obviously Branding Power went well. He's drawn a little bit awkwardly, so I've got him in on a minor line as well, but I do like Divine Era coming out of this race. I thought it was a good run from him, and he's getting there, and he looks good, so he's definitely in for me.
Yeah, with Paul here, Divine Era, he's coming out of racing behind Fantastic Treasure and Decisive 12. There's the Decisive 12 replay. He was luckless after that, so he's been in strong fields. OK, both chances then for those two. What about Victory Scholars, one of the debutants here, Mark, for David Hall, Matthew Poon, jumped from Barry 11, and Gluck Racer as well. He's had 8 trials. I'm going to put Gluck Racer in. Was really encouraged by his debut back in January and was put aside following that. He's had 2 trials, quite one behind Seattle Choice, and this one too, Paul, but on his debut, couldn't leave him out.
No, I agree with you, and I just thought he was just pushed out a little bit, Victory Scholars. He's still he's a big horse. He's 34 pounds, and he has already had those 8 trials, so we'll see how he goes. All right,
Rhapsody, fresh up since November. Paul, he's won his last 2 trials.
He's looked good here, Rhapsody in blue here in front, and he's going nicely and stretches out really well, does Rhapsody, so... Look, I've got him in for sure. I think he's going nicely. And that win 3 starts ago was very good, and he was absolutely backed off the board when he did beat My Sugar, who then came out and won. So, look, I think he looks good, Rhapsody.
The reason he hasn't raced since the 29th of November is he had an irregular heart rhythm, so as long as that's not going to affect him, he's certainly in the top 4, and it's Maria in size too.
But Divine Era favourite again, Paul?
Yeah, so I've got him on top, Divine Era, coming out of those 2 races to beat Rhapsody, Gluck Racer and Branding Power. We've talked about all those, 3, 7, 5 and 9.
Can make this quick because it's the same 4 as Paul, just a different order. Divine Era gets his chance to win, so he's on top to beat 5 Gluck Racer, 9 Branding Power despite the wide draw. They tinkered with the gear with him, and 7 Rhapsody back from a break. 3, 5, 9 and 7.
3, 9 and 7 crop up in our numbers right across the board there for the first leg of the triple trio, so hopefully it's a good starting point for you. Next up for us, race number 6. That's the first leg of the 6-up.